Sound and Vision TV questa sera nel backstage del New Age Club con The Rakes. Hello.
Hello.
And so, after... Pardon. And so, after Capture and Release and 10 new messages, in the early 2009 has come Klang. What are the main differences between the three albums?
I think the main difference is yeah. Let me think.
If you don't mind me butting in here. I think the first one was we're new and very excited, you know, and that probably came across on the album, you know. The second one, we tried to have more production, yeah, like more of a studio album than a live album, because the first one we'd played live a lot, and we just played what we played live in the studio and recorded it. And the second one was written and recorded in the studio, so it's more of a studio album. And the third one was completely live, yeah. So, whereas the first one was a mix between live and studio, the second one was studio, the third one's completely live. Yeah. More mature. We became better at playing live, and we realised that was our forte, our strength. Yeah, you know, we thought we'd apply our strengths to recording it. Yeah. So the third one.
Okay, and what are, in your opinion, the main features that make the UK music at the top of the music scene all around the world?
Is it?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, I never knew that.
And America also.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, I think what might be beneficial is that in the UK we've got really bad weather and we like moaning. And I think, like, if we were surrounded by nice beaches and good weather and we were particularly happy, then you'd sort of spend all the time down the beach. But instead we sort of stay in dark, dingy pubs and then go to sort of around your friend's house and maybe someone can play guitar or something like that, and then you write a song where you sort of moan how miserable you are, but it's really your own fault. I'd say that's particular perhaps to a lot of music in the UK, not all of course, but there's certainly a trend of that, and yeah, I don't know, I mean, also a lot of when I was just watching telly this morning, there's a lot of rubbish as well, you know, sort of like popular music that's rubbish from the UK and the US. Like this morning, just for example, in the hotel in the UK there was The Darkness, UK band that hopefully don't exist anymore, and also from the US, Shakira, you know, also, oh, she's from Colombia, oh right, I do apologise, but I mean she's singing in English, but yeah, there's some real terrible stuff on there, so yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just good marketing or something.
And you've recorded the Klang in Berlin. How does the Germany has influenced maybe your the album?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of like influenced. Yeah, I mean, the recording in a way, but I think we started writing the first song we wrote, Matthew wrote really, was the song 1989, which is about Berlin and the history of Germany, etc. And after that, yeah, I think we realised that it would be good to record in Berlin. As the content of the albums, some of it was about the place itself, and yeah, the place we recorded in was an interesting old radio station from the 1950s, I guess, and yeah, it has a certain atmosphere that hopefully helped us create a sort of unique sounding sort of album. Yeah.
And what are the main differences between Berlin and London? Working in Berlin and working in London about music, for example.
I think Berlin sort of feels a bit more wild or something. Of course, there's, you know, a lot of the music industry is in London, and everyone knows what's going on, and it's sort of, it seems sometimes a bit safe, even though there are, of course, very creative people there doing their own nights and doing their own bands, etc. I think Berlin, yeah, just sort of seems a bit more wild.
Yeah, it's just a little less gentrified. Yeah, like anything could happen. borders of legal and illegal are kind of blurred. You know, it's quite exciting.
And what do you think about the evolution of the Brit rock music from the Beatles, I suppose, to nowadays?
Yeah, I guess so. From the Beatles up till now, yeah. I mean, I guess, well, it's sort of the Beatles' legacy sort of ended when Oasis just broke up, didn't it? Yeah, so that sort of ended there. I don't know really. I mean, I think yeah, for a lot of people in the UK, yeah, when they're sort of starting a band, even though of course the UK and you know everyone in Europe is becoming more and more sort of like international, you know, it's sort of the world's getting smaller and smaller. I think there's still a sort of bit of a I don't know hangover or reference or a inclination towards referencing, yeah, like the bands that you're sort of you know from your home country and you're sort of proud of, or your parents are proud of, you know, yeah, like the Beatles and Stones and Bowie and stuff like that. So I still think there's, yeah, you know, they're still sort of like coming through in UK bands to a degree, I think.
And coming back to your last album, Klang, what about the songs? How did they start being created? From the lyrics or from the music?
A bit of both, really. So it was a bit different this time round because I tried to learn piano. So, say on some songs, maybe like the bass line would be written on piano, or the whole main phrase would be based on piano. So that was sort of a bit different. But yeah, it's sort of we don't really have a formula per se, or else you sort of get an album that's just a bit more formulaic and a bit boring. So try and sort of mix it up a little bit, you know. Yeah, so it varies really where the magic comes from.
And do the lyrics come from your personal experience or just from imagination?
I think this time round we wanted to sort of write lyrics that didn't always make sense sort of cerebrally, but might make sense sort of, I guess, emotionally, and sort of took reference from a David Bowie song called Candidate off the Diamond Dogs album, that is just a sort of series of pretty, and I hate this word, random lines seem to be sort of thrown together that sort of somehow sort of makes sense, and sort of took reference from that slightly, and so there's a lot of yeah, I mean, I think everywhere, I think every time you have to start from something that's happened in your real life, you know, because or else you just sort of be sort of like random words like orange shoelace, tree, hat. I think you need some sort of basis in reality, and then the imagination go to work. And some songs are pretty direct, like From Your Mac is pretty direct, sort of romantic sort of song, and then other ones are purposely made a bit sort of screwy to create an interest there, you know, lyrically. Yeah.
And would you collaborate with some artists in the future, maybe, and with who?
James.
There's an artist in the UK called Peter Andre. Very highly respected artist. YouTube him, you know. Definitely collaborate with him. Yeah. If not by music, then just, you know, maybe a video or something, you know. Yeah.
And do you give importance to the look about your being on stage and in your music?
Of course. It's evident right here, as we live and breathe. Yes. Yes. Yes, and thrice yes.
Okay. And last of all, best place where you've performed in?
It has to be Italy.
No.
What? What's a famous town in Italy? Rome.